London Uncovered. We are moving on to a new dimension, a new series where we talk about superstitions. And what is superstitions? It's any belief or practice based upon one's trust in luck or other irrational, unscientific, or supernatural forces. It often arises from ignorance or misunderstandings, and it comes from a parental models, a social models, and even a personal experiences. And we can see there's so many belief systems in the world. There's so many beliefs, and yet the world is in such a chaos. And one author puts it very beautifully, and he says, we believe in Marx, Freud, and Darwin. We believe that everything is okay as long as we don't hurt anyone, to the best of our knowledge of hurt and to the best of our knowledge. We believe in sex before, during, and after marriage. We believe in the therapy of sin. We believe that adultery is fun. We believe that sodomy is okay. We believe that taboos are taboo. We believe that everything is getting better despite the evidence to the contrary. The evidence must be investigated, and we can prove anything with evidence. We believe there is something in horoscopes, UFOs, and pen spoons. Jesus was a good man, just like Buddha, Muhammad, ourselves. He was a good moral teacher. Always we think that his good morals were bad. We believe that all religions are basically the same, at least the ones that we read one. They all believe in love and goodness. They only differ in matters of creation, sin, heaven, hell, God, and salvation. We believe that after death comes nothing, because when you ask the dead what happens, they say nothing. If death is not the end, and if the dead have lied, then it's compulsory heaven for all, excepting perhaps Hitler, Stalin, and Genghis Khan. We believe in Masters and Johnsons. What's selected is average, what average is normal, what's normal is good. We believe in total disarmament. We believe there are direct links between bloodshed and warfare. The Americans should beat their girls into tractors, and the Russians would be sure to follow. We believe that man is essentially good. It's only his behavior that lets him down. Behavior is the fault of society. Society is the fault of conditions. Conditions are the fault of society. We believe there's no absolute truth. Except the truth, there's no absolute truth. We believe in the rejection of creed and the flowering of individual thoughts. If chance be the father of all flesh, disaster is his rainbow in the sky. And when you hear troops on rampage, sniper kills 10, youths go looting, bomb blast school, it is but the sound of man worshipping his maker. And today we are going to speak to people and find out exactly what is their superstitions. Moving forward in this episode on superstitions, and now we are going back once again to a great professional, and this is none other than Tom. Morning, Tom.
Morning, Sanjay.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks.
Tell us, do you have any superstitions?
I think when I was younger, I had superstitions, but I think I've grown out of them. There's familiar ones like, throwing salt over your shoulder and other things like that. But I think when I get up, the older I've got, I think I've just matured a little bit and we take them seriously.
Tell me, what do you think happens to people who are superstitious?
But I think that's one of the reasons why I have grown out of my superstitions, because they are almost traditional, a lot of them, and I think it makes you more fearful and a little bit more hesitant to do things. So I think not having the superstitions is actually good.
What advice would you give to the world?
About superstitions? Yeah, like I say, I think superstitions can be good and bad. I mean, I don't think that they're bad, but I think that they're not very practical for your life. So if you believe in them, then that's good, and I respect that. Me personally, I think that we can grow out of them.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
As always, a pleasure. Moving on with a new topic on superstitions. We are back again, once again, one of the most delightful person who's known for his honesty, his integrity, his team players, and he's none other than Delhi. Morning, Delhi.
Morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, do you have any superstitions?
Yeah, I do. Because when I was growing up, the community where I grew up, we made to believe there's a kind of image in the community. We made to believe that if we're sick, we can go to this image, speak to the image can give us a kind of healings, whatever we're sick of, you know. So that's the way I grew up, and this was imposed on us, that we have to believe this image can set us free.
What do you think superstition does to a person?
I think superstitious makes somebody to believe in a kind of a mystery that probably it doesn't really exist, but you just have a kind of hallucination, you know, believing in what you feel it can really help you, and probably it doesn't.
What advice would you give to the world?
My advice to the world is that, me personally, I found out to believe superstitions doesn't really work. And to the general public, is that they shouldn't believe in what cannot be proven to be helpful.
Thanks, Delhi.
Thanks, Sanjay.
As always, a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
continuing our new episodes. And this time we are talking about superstitions. And guess what? We have a very special person today. Oh yes, very special person. And he's none other than Ash. Morning, Ash.
Morning.
Tell us, do you have any superstitions?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I have a few superstitions. Being a competitive sportsman, I think we all have lots of superstitions. Some may be habits. There's a fine line between a habit and a superstition. But the emphasis that I put on those and the degree to which they affect my life is questionable.
Tell us, how does it affect a person who's superstitious?
I think it depends what type of person you are as to whether it affects you or not. Certainly my superstitions, some, as I say, in sport, to do with putting on my left sock first and then my left shoe first, and I think some of that comes from habit, that I'm left-handed, but then it's worked into a superstition. Also was last out of the changing rooms, and again, if I wasn't last out of changing rooms, I don't know how that affected me in terms of performance. I think sometimes we don't question what our superstition is for, though. Again, if I play and I get injured, do I say justify my superstition by saying at least I didn't get injured worse? If I have a bad performance, do I say it's okay, I only let in 4 goals, it would have been 5 if I didn't have my superstition? So again, the emphasis we put on those, I think, personally, can be questionable.
What advice would you give to the world, to people who are superstitious?
I think be careful, as to whether your superstition is a habit or superstition. Also, don't rely on your superstition to control your life. Be who you want to be, live how you want to live. Don't let that superstition take over your life and control it. You need to be able to break away from it. If it's something you can't break away from, then perhaps that might affect other parts of your life.
Thanks, Ash. It's been a great pleasure.
Take care.
As we are moving on once again, and we are talking about superstitions, today we have someone very special, one of our frontline managers, who's not only an inspiration, but an encouragement to all his colleagues and friends around him. Good morning, Femi.
Good morning.
Tell us, do you have any superstitions?
I used to, but not anymore.
Tell us, how does superstition affect people?
Right. To me, I believe that superstition is just a man-made idea to either restrict people from doing certain things or to just create some kind of fear
in people. I used to believe in superstition. I have an African background and we are quite superstitious there. But I just believe it's all a man-made idea to make people desist from doing some particular things that these people who create these superstitions don't really want them to do.
What advice would you give to the world regarding superstitions?
Right. It all depends on each individual, because some people may find it something tolerable and some wouldn't. So I will leave it as something that's for each person to decide upon. But personally, I wouldn't advise anyone to take on any superstitious idea, because it's a sort of an artificial law that just restricts them from doing what they really want to do.
Femi, it's been such a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you. Next on our list is none other than Alan. And as we all know, Alan is an expert as far as Beatles are concerned. And today we are going to ask Alan those three interesting questions. Morning, Alan.
Morning, Sanjay.
Tell us, do you have any superstitions?
None myself, but I can tell you something that the Beatles had.
Yes, so tell us, what were the superstitions the Beatles had?
Well, John Lennon in particular had two. He liked the colour green and also the number 9. He was born on the 9th of October. When he was with Yoko, they had 9 O's between them in their names, which he always considered an omen. He produced songs such as Revolution 9, Number 9 Dream, and he also, regarding the colour green, used to sign in as an alias in the hotels as John Green, not under his own name.
Alan, what message would you give to the world, people who are superstitious?
I would quote one of the most fateful lines that John Lennon ever wrote in a song he wrote called Beautiful Boy. The line went, "Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans." And I think that is so true of modern life. But then he also said, there are 8 days in a week and I am the walrus, I am the Eggman. Goo 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 goo.
Alan, as always, a pleasure.
Pleasure.
finally, we're coming back to Pastor Philip once again. And let's see what Pastor Philip has to say about superstition. Good evening, Pastor Philip.
Good evening, Sanjay.
Tell us, do you have any superstitions?
Well, I know superstition, but I don't believe in superstition. I don't have any superstition.
How do you think superstitions affect people?
See, superstition is what they term excessive belief in the supernatural, and it's affecting so many people, especially my country, Ghana. People are so superstitious. Even the water they drink is affected. They believe that the forest is inhabited by gods. So they always have to do some sacrifices. They have what they call a bad day. You can't go to the farm on this day. Even the rivers they believe, are inhabited by spirits. So sometimes they slaughter cows, goats, and they pour libation onto the river. So actually, superstition is very, very, very infectious in my country, Ghana.
What advice would you give to people with superstitions?
Superstition, in fact, kills initiative. It doesn't give you the mind of your own. Because instead of thinking and doing exploits with your mind, God-given mind, your talent, people believe that they are so superstitious that they always have to consult a higher being, a river god, a forest god, and even these Christian pastors before they can take a decision. But sometimes they are discouraged. Somebody wanted to build in my hometown, an old lady on pension, and in that surrounding, in her family, nobody has put up a building. Very, let's say, a nice structure. All they live in is mud houses. And then she went to her pastor to pray for her so that she'll be able to build a house. The pastor told her that the day you build a house, you will die. And the woman didn't build a house. And the woman, unfortunately, didn't die on time. She died at an old age. And what happened? Eventually, the mud house crumbled. And she really had no place to sleep. And the blocks were all over the place. And she didn't even have money to continue the building. See what superstition does to my people. So superstition is nothing to be encouraged. It's very, very bad.
Thank you, Pastor. As always, you're amazing. As we come to this episode on superstitions, we heard that superstitions were due to cultural, religious, and personal experiences. And everybody followed superstitions because they thought they could be in control. They could repeat their performances better, and sometimes they would be protected. And when I look at this waterfall out here, it reminds me of the flow of life. The life that flows, and it doesn't stop for anyone or anything. And when I see this waterfall, it reminds me of the poem by Robert Southey, The Cataract of Lodore, where he says, "The cataract strong then plunges along, striking and raging as if our raging is caverns and rocks among, rising and leaping, sinking and creeping, showering and springing, eddying and whisking, sprouting and frisking, turning and twisting, around and around with endless rebound, smiting and fighting, a sight to delighting, confounding, astounding, dizzying and deafening the ear with its sound, collecting, projecting, receding and speeding, and shocking and rocking and darting and parting, and hissing and splitting, dividing and gliding and sliding, and so never ending, but always descending, sounds and motions, forever and ever a blending, all at once and all over, with a mighty uproar. In this way, the water comes down at the door. And in the same way, life carries on, and it moves on. And in the words of Stevie Wonder, when he says, very superstitious, writings on the wall, very superstitious, ladders about to fall, 13-month-old baby broke the looking glass, 7 years of bad luck, the good things in your past. When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Superstition ain't the way. And this is what the message is from everyone. Superstition ain't the way. Superstition ain't the way.